What is going on, party people in the house? You are right. We are so close to college football being back. In fact, this is week 0, I believe. So there should be some games this upcoming weekend. I'm so pumped about that. I don't know what games they are. I just know this is week 0. So there should be something for us to watch this weekend. Next week, Texas plays against Ohio State. We're flying out to Columbus. Who's with me? Who's coming to Columbus? Where are we going? Where the party at? Let your unk know. Let's do it up in Columbus and have a good time. Just be safe, though, because I hear they're not always good to their fans. But I have a fun Friday topics. Been a couple of guys that people have been telling me about who have just been standing out, absolutely killing it. So we're going to talk a little bit about those people. The SEC has decided they're going to man up, they're going to level up, and they're going to decide that, oh, snap, we're going to go ahead and do a 9-game schedule. So we're conference schedule. So we're going to talk about that. We talked about that for the longest time. So we're going to dive into that one as well. It's good to see everybody here in the chat. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. And let's get this party started. Let me just do a retweet to this. And it's good to see all my people here in the chat. I saw my man Nate was in the chat. Rodolfo, Salfenzo Queen popped in there as well. And I see a lot of first and 12 ounces. That's a new one as well. Obviously, my man Court, just another fragrance reviewer. Stephanie, my neighbor, it literally is in here. Stephanie, I got to message you. What's up with all these homes going on sale in our neighborhood? What the hell? What the hell are you doing to our property value? So anyway, let's also talk about some Texas Longhorns as well. And shout out to the people who I did miss. Especially, I need to learn how to say Cavazuma, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. But good morning to everybody. So this weekend on the 40 acres is the last scrimmage of the 3 that they've had. And we've talked a lot about all these scrimmages, and we kind of dove into it. And usually, y'all, and Mark Anthony, you switched it around. I don't like it. I like Mark Anthony better. And the first 2 scrimmages I'm serious. The first 2 scrimmages, and we're really about settling the depth chart. And really, that's more about the position movement. It's really about just kind of, there wasn't really a lot, I'll be honest with you. There wasn't a lot of battles to be set really in the training camp. Once Kojo goes down with his injury, the right tackle position and what was supposed to be a battle between Brandon Baker and Kojo, that thing kind of ended, right? And there really wasn't a position battle for us to really watch. We saw that basically Quintravion Wisner kind of solidified that position, the running back position. We did see a good thing, though, which was C.J. Baxter has pretty much risen up like the Undertaker. Y'all remember those clips? But he's risen up like the Undertaker. And C.J. Baxter, at one point, Sark was saying he's, running back A and 1A and 1B. So the offensive line got solidified. The running back room pretty much got solidified. We kind of know what receivers that we're dealing with, which, we knew like Parker Livingstone really was able to kind of cement himself at that starting outside spot. Props to him. Emmett Mosley is the guy who'll be in the mix. Maybe a guy comes on a little bit later as he gets healthier, but Parker Livingstone's one side, Ryan Wingo is on the other. And, people have told, Ryan Wingo's high expectations for him. Absolute baller. People really, 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 really high on him. I think I did a video on him earlier this week. So I think it was this week. I don't know. They all run together. But I did a video on him. Check that out. It's somewhere on the channel. Somewhere, I don't know. And so we pretty much, Jack Andrews was the tight end. There's a guys behind him for the 12 personnel, right? And so, and by the way, I'll interrupt the show. I'll interrupt the show real quick. For Dolphin wants to know, is there anyone going to the Young Boy concert? Now, Anybody 35 and up doesn't need to be answering this question. But for everybody else, are y'all going to young boy? Young boy, isn't he like NBA young boy or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, that's for my young bucks who are in the chat. And I know I got a lot of young bucks in there. Y'all link up with Rodolfo and do what y'all do at those things. I'll go to sleep at 9 o'clock. So anyway, so we solidified the things on the offense. And if you go into there, put that in the chat as well. We are man of the people. We address everything. So we got the offense kind of solidified, right? And then the defense, for the most part, we kind of knew what was going on with there. But one thing started happening over the last couple of weeks for me. And I started hearing this name, Ty Anthony Smith. And I heard throughout the offseason, don't get me wrong, I heard the name throughout the offseason. But over the past couple of weeks, it really was like a lot of people talking about, to me, man, Ty Anthony Smith is that dude. Ty Anthony Smith is that guy. Ty Anthony Smith, like, Ty Anthony Smith again, huh? I just kept hearing his name and over and over and over and over. And over the last 2 weeks, it has been a resounding, pretty much out of most of the people I've heard on the defense. And look, sometimes people don't talk about certain guys because you just kind of know who they are, right? So if you say like Colin Simmons is standing out in practice, it's kind of like, it's not breaking news, right? You say Anthony Hill has a good practice, it's not breaking news. It's kind of what you expect, right? Same thing you say like Michael Tabb is having a good practice. Like, I expect him to have a good practice. So what the things that usually stand out, and by the way, Dalen McCutcheon on the offensive side for the freshman has been doing extremely well as well. But thing that's usually stands out is when it's a name that you're not expecting. And when it becomes a name that you're not expecting, then you're like, oh, wait. Who we talking about? Who? And it's Ty Anthony. And everybody keeps telling me, this young boy can crack. They talk, but he brings the wood, old school, kind of bringing that wood. A little bit smaller, but they tell me it don't matter. They tell me when Ty Anthony's out there, he has been one of the stars of training camp, especially from the defensive side. He's been a guy that everybody's raving about. And there's a couple of things as relates to that too that I think is really important for the linebacker position. Is one, this is a position that Texas didn't really say, okay, well, we need more bodies in that room. In fact, they took a guy out of that room, which is in your mind, you're like, you Trey Moore no, it was the linebacker, not Trey Moore. Of course, Trey Moore, of course. But then is the linebacker that came from Arkansas, that is Brad Spence. Thank you. Brad Spence, they took him out that room. And so you're like, damn, don't you need the bodies? But they said no. And it's funny because Nate, you are right there, Nate. Nate's takes over there on the side there. You're right there. Because one of the things that someone told me, and I thought was really interesting, if y'all remember last year, David Benda started out. Damn it, they stole my thunder, brother. Yeah, it's all good. But one of the things last year was, David Benda started out as the starting linebacker. But as the season went on, Leona Lafau got in there, right? And to the next thing it was somewhere around, I think it was like November-ish or so. My memory, it's October, November, it's somewhere in there. It became Leona Lafau's job, right? And so then David Benda had to come off the bench. So what I've been told is, hey, Ty Anthony Smith isn't named the starter, and it's Leona Lafau, that position battle is not over. They said there is a possibility, the way Ty Anthony has been playing. So I was told, don't be surprised if we get down in the middle of the season and Ty Anthony ends up getting that number one spot. I'm Leona. Life comes at you fast, right? Especially when you at one of the top programs in the country. Like that's just life. That you got to expect that to happen. So, I mean, If I'm y'all, I'm just keeping an eye on the name. Everything for me is just taking mental notes, right? Everything is just taking mental notes. Um, and that's I think for me a huge mental note. Now I did find I was like I feel like Sark was asked about Ty Anthony at some point, right? And so I went back and I found a clip. Actually, it's not a long clip. I don't think it's longer than a minute. But yeah, but he was asked about the best tacklers on the team, and I want y'all to hear what he said.
Who are your best tacklers that have shown up?
Oh man, I think Jelani is a fantastic tackler. He's got range, he's got speed, he's got size to get people on the ground. I think Anthony is a fantastic tackler. I think he's really taken another step in the open field of what he does there, tackling in the open space. I think Derek Williams, another fantastic tackler, having him back out there. I'd say those three jump right off the top. I'd say Anthony Smith is another very good tackler as well. So those guys all kind of jump out at me, just kind of the first 3 or 4 names.
Anthony forcing himself.
He's playing really good. I'm really proud of Anthony. He's really grown up, not only on the field but off the field, and you can see the level of maturity on the field, his intent every day at practice. He's not the biggest guy, but the physicality that he plays with and the speed he plays with definitely shows up.
Yes. So, and when I was like, yeah, I know I've heard, but again, that's what Sark said, but I'm hearing it from so many other people as well, right? So, yes, this is. I would say no. That's what I want to put it. But Mike Torres says Ty Anthony striving makes Pettyjohn easier to tolerate, just a little bit. Like if you get Pettyjohn, you obviously you want him. But I think the other thing too is, hey, if you got a guy who's come in and balling like that, you can't. Easier to tolerate, and I see the key word to that, right? Easier to tolerate, not the easiest thing. And this is what Nate had said: if LaFau took Bender's job and now he's more experienced and Smith is taking his job, dude must be really good. No wonder that linebacker group is getting Sark shout outs. Yeah, I mean, Nate, you're not 100% wrong with that. And here and other thing too. And this is an interesting point that McCard makes. One of the things that someone told me that ends up being a little bit of a motivator for a guy like Ty Anthony is that, he knows some of those guys that they're at A&M. And so there's a little personal pride thing where it's like, I need to get out there on that field, because, I there's a little I want to show them kind of thing, right? And that's not the main motivation, right? But it's one of those things it's a byproduct, right? Of saying, like, I know some of those Aggies, I know some of those people. I want to show these folks that I am the real deal. And I want to show these people that I'm not some guy that's just coming here and sitting on the bench. So here's the other thing as relates to Ty Anthony too. And the other thing that's also good to know is that if he's on special teams, one of the things that I've heard is that when he's on special teams, he's absolutely killing it on special teams. I was just told that when he's out there, the cracking is something that's always it happens all the time. And so I was told just to when he's out there, him and Barnes are really, really good. And so just keep an eye on him, even if he doesn't make it on. I was looking at one of my notes though, because I feel like I sent them something that had a little bit more in there. Yeah, it was him. I said Elijah. I said Bo Barnes is what the kid I need to say. I was told when I apologize. I was told Bo Barnes. I was told when Ty Anthony and Barnes are out there on special teams that it's just you can just tell the difference as far as the hitting is concerned, the intensity is concerned. So I was told even if Ty Anthony maybe isn't getting a starting thing. That's to watch out for him on special teams. He's apparently just not a guy. He is not a guy, apparently, that you want to be sleeping on. You might want to keep your head on a swivel if he's out there. So that's one guy. Another guy isn't the biggest surprise for us, but it's a good positive thing that has happened, right? And another guy who over the last couple of weeks I've been hearing a lot of great things about, it's actually been Derek Williams. And it's interesting because, for that safety position, he gets hurt last year, right? And so he's out. And so he's got that recovery that he has to go through. And, you start out and Sark and the staff, they're trying to say, okay, can we unleash him? Can we not unleash him? Maybe we need to take it a little bit softer, a little bit easier. I don't know if we can, you just want to make sure it's a long season. That's what Sark always talks about. It's a very long season. Want to make sure that I've got guys who are healthy for the absolute long haul. And someone told me, I think it was like one of the first scrimmages, the first time I heard something significant that made me take note is that they told me that Michael Terry had caught a pass and it was Williams that basically upended him. And Michael Terry, if y'all know, he ain't the smallest dude. Dude's pretty big. And I was like, he upended him? Huh. Okay. And I've heard that Derek Williams has really poured it on, to the point where he's another guy that's going to be kind of nipping at the heels as far as, making sure he's in there. I've heard that between him, he's made that room better. So you got Taft, Jelani, all these guys there. And then Derek Williams is a guy that looks like he might be returning to that form before the injury. Again, nothing but good things, nothing but outstanding things about him as relates to that secondary, because we already know that secondary is going to be salty. We already know that defense is going to be extremely good. We've talked about this before. At least I've talked about it before, and I've had some salty defenses conversations before on this one. But Derek Williams is another person that I've heard over the last couple of weeks. So that's what I'm saying. Like, me telling you, hey, Anthony Hill's having a good camp. You're like, hello, Captain Obvious, right? I mean, you only want to hear it if you tell me it's a bad camp. But it's no, Captain Obvious. No, he's having a good one. And then, yes, the thing about Jonah at this moment is that, he's still recovering. And it goes back to the point of one of the videos I did. I do a lot of videos now. But one of the videos I did, I'm pretty sure it was on Tuesday of this week when I started talking about the 5 stars that Texas gets. And, we're at a point where we're looking at guys like Cade Phillips, Jonah Williams, Justice Terry, Lance Jackson, 5 stars who Texas is saying, like, hey, man, you can grow, you can develop, you can get better. It's going to be all right. And so, yeah, you don't even stress out about Jonah. You just say, hey, man, go ahead. If you can contribute on special teams, great. If not, it's okay. Just because there's so much talent that's there and so much talent that's grown. So, yeah, knowing that Derek Williams is there, I don't think you have any worries about that room. And the thing is that Dwayne Aquina has done such a good job of, he's done a good job of just cross-training guys, making sure a lot of guys can play different positions. So, don't be surprised, like, again, I don't know game plans. They'll tell me that. They'll tell me that. But I just know that these guys have been cross-trained and, all those guys can move around the field. And so Derek Williams has just been an absolute stud as well. Those are the guys that kind of still stand out. Money B and I have talked about this. Is Money B here today? I don't know if Money B is in the house. He's usually the first person at post that he's in the house. And where is Money B, by the way? I don't know. Where is Money B? Anybody know where Money B is? Where's Green Lantern? Where's my peoples at? I don't know where my peoples are at. Hero Canoe obviously has been a guy that we've talked about, and he's been playing extremely well. Cody Carpentier is here, by the way. But Hero Canoe has been a guy that's played well and extremely well. So, again, we're what's it, 8 days from the season opener. And as we get, there's Money B, as we get ready, Money B, hey man, at least you know you missed. At least you know there's a present. At least you know today, Money B, if there's anybody who cares about you, Money B, it's your unc. Because unc didn't see you in the chat. See, sometimes you think, sometimes a roll call. I'm like, where you at? So now I know you're here. Now I know you're good. We're 8 days away, obviously, from the season opener, and we always know. Okay, Green Lantern's here too. All right, I'm glad to know y'all are here. I won't do everybody. Like, where's Mike Harges, right? No, I can do the entire show off the names that I know, right? 8 days away from the season opener. And we all know, and Stark has talked about this a lot, that, the thing you got to do, you got to be able to pack your defense when you go on the road. He's talked about that. It's been really, really evident. And so, as relates to that, if you got that much depth that's on there, and like always check out Alex and Cody's show. They do a really good job of really getting into the weeds and breaking those things down. You should be in a good place. So as we go into the scrimmage, and again, the scrimmage here, just again, for those who joined the show late, this scrimmage here is more about getting ready for Ohio State than it is about trying to solve depth chart. Like the depth chart, a lot of that has already been solved. A lot of that has already been taken care of. And so right now, this is really just getting the 2 deep ready for Ohio State, kind of just, it's game prep. It's game prep time, more so than anything else, more so than trying to, battle, get guys hurt, like anything else to that effect. So there is that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else worth noting before I talk about the SEC stuff. There's a couple of notes that I had, but nobody seems to be too overly concerned about Trevor Gooseby and the hand. He's going to play, and even if there's a brace on the hand, he's going to play. I mean, I'll be honest. Even though I've heard good things about Jaden Chapman filling in at times for Gooseby, makes me a little nervous. just a little nervous. Like I don't just Trevor, I don't know what your belief system is, and I don't know where you at, and but if you want to go to church on Sunday, we okay with that. You have somebody pray over you and lay hands on you and all, whatever it is, Trevor. But if you just want to go or go online, I don't know. But Trevor Gooseby needs to be healthy, because I don't want to imagine a world without Trevor Gooseby. And I actually saw something that was interesting. I don't know if Cody saw this, but I saw something that was really interesting. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But somebody had him, I don't know if it was Daniel Jeremiah or not, had Gooseby down as one of the guys to kind of keep an eye on. Jordan Reed actually had this. I bookmark it. I'm going to show this to y'all real quick as relates to Gooseby. I know it's a little impromptu. Hopefully nothing personal pops up in here. Somebody send me some crazy text message. A DM. Jordan Reed had some non-QB prospects that he was circled as potential breakout candidates this season. Gooseby listed at that number 2 spot. So obviously, and there's some other interesting here. Cassius Howell, that's here. Christian Miller, which don't know a ton about, be quite honest with you. But it's interesting that out of all the people in the country they could have listed, like I said, I bookmarked that once I can go there. Trevor Gooseby was a guy that is worth there. So keep that up there. What's up, Jamar, as well? Harges is here. Man, look, y'all are here. Y'all are here. Okay, it's good to know. Just by the way, if you're new to the show, all these people who are in the chat, their family, I know them. I mean, I haven't met all of them, but I'm so familiar with the majority of them that when they're not here, it actually stands out to me. And I'm like, where is such and such? Where's Nate Takes? Has Nate Takes been in here today? I don't know if he's been in here. Nate Takes has been in here. Oh wait, I did talk to him. There's a few others though. There's a few others that are missing. All right, so check this out, y'all. The SEC has decided to finally catch up. to basically what Texas has been doing for the longest time. But the SEC has finally said to themselves, enough is enough. We are going to do a 9-game conference schedule in 2026. And really what this boils down to is that the SEC is saying we need to finally get we need as many teams in this playoff as possible. And clearly, if you're comparing a 9-game conference schedule, which other conferences has, versus our schedule, and no one is buying the, well, hey, we play in the toughest conference that's out there, so therefore we should be rewarded for doing less. They're like, well, okay, well then give us the best of your best. But we're not going to reward you guys and just give you a bunch of stuff. So now the SEC says, okay, it's time to level up. Let's go ahead and go to a 9-game conference schedule and go from there. Now, here's some of the rules for y'all who are driving. I don't want you to be don't look on the screen. I know you got me plugged into your USB. Do not look on this screen. We don't need, that's the worst thing. You ever see someone driving, looking at their phone? You're just like, yo, you're just trying to kill us all. SEC will continue with a single standings, non-division structure. Essentially, there's not going to be an East or West kind of division, North or South, whatever. There's just going to be one single standings. So, which I kind of like, quite honest with you. I like that. Because I never really was a fan of, because, one side could have, let's say, a lesser, not as good of a record, but all of a sudden now they're that, the West Conference. Like, no, give us the top 2 teams in the conference rather, and let's just let it battle out from there. Each school will play 3 annual opponents, focus on maintaining traditional rivalries. More than likely for Texas, that's it's going to be, I believe it's Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. That should be the 3 for Texas. That's kind of what we talked about as far as those regional rivalries are concerned. I mean, honestly, I would love, even though it won't happen, I would love to sub out Arkansas for Georgia, if I was just being honest with you. But I know that's not going to happen. But I would love to just sub out Georgia. Wouldn't y'all, if y'all had a choice between playing Arkansas every year or Georgia every year, wouldn't you rather have Georgia? I'm just saying that, I don't know. It would be a better game, but it's not going to happen because they want to continue traditional rivalries. But I think this is a really good way to start a new tradition, if I'm just being quite honest with you. But Greg Sankey doesn't care what I think, but that's what I think. Each team's remaining 6 games will rotate among the remaining conference schedules. And then each team will face every other SEC program at least once every 2 years, and every other opponent at home after that. But there's one thing that he did not put in there. And one of the things too is that, okay, and here's one, there's another caveat that's here, but it's not on the screen, but it was in the press release. It also said SEC teams are required to schedule at least one additional high-quality non-conference opponent from either the ACC, Big Ten, Big 12 Conference, or Notre Dame. And then it said the SEC will continue to evaluate its policies to ensure continuing the scheduling of high-quality non-conference opponents. In other words, we want y'all to do what Texas has been doing for years. Like, this is a new concept in the SEC, right? This is a new concept in the SEC. The new concept is, wait. So we actually have to schedule real teams? What? But wait. What about all these FBS schools? Like, wait, we want some easy wins. And like, no, because they ain't working for you. It's not helping you. It is the thing that the SEC learned when a couple of years ago, Texas played Alabama, and then Texas beat Alabama in the regular season, but it didn't hurt them come playoff time, and Alabama still got in. And it's the thing that Texas has been doing for years. Even before they got into the SEC. Before they got into the SEC, Texas was scheduling the Notre Dames of the world. Texas was scheduling, they had Michigan on the schedule. They scheduled Ohio State. They scheduled Florida and Georgia, again, before getting into this conference. Hell, now they've got Arizona State on the schedule. And shoot, I mean, maybe when they made it, it may not have looked like something, but it sure is going to be something now. The BYUs of the world. So Texas has always been a program that has said we want to schedule the best of the best. Even though I don't know, Del Conte and I, we've had our playful back and forth. It's been fun. He and I go back and forth sometimes. And I'm like, man, Chris, why are you scheduling all these tough teams? Man, why don't you just take these cupcakes, right? And so it's almost like he did it a little bit this year, right? Because once you get to that September schedule, well, good luck. Good luck. God bless all of y'all who are going to sit out there in that hot Texas sun in September to watch Sam Houston State or UTEP or there's San Jose State. God bless all of y'all. But now all of a sudden, but it's almost like, but Texas has been doing this. Ohio State, right? Back to back. Michigan, back to back. And so now all of a sudden, the SEC, they just can't hide behind we're the SEC anymore. It's not carrying weight. The committee don't care. They just don't. The committee now, and the SEC can cry about it as much as they want to. And somebody said it'd be great to play Vandy every year. I'm back. Thank you, Spectrum. Anyway, the SEC could cry and high and say Indiana should not have gotten in and SMU ain't all that. And they can go down the list and Boise States and all. The committee said we don't care. You can't just and so yeah, if you are Ole Miss and you felt like you should have made the playoffs last year, well, that's on you. Get some better quality better quality wins or quality losses, whatever it is, you got to get that on your schedule. And so that's what the committee said. So now the SEC says, all right, we're going to do it your way and let's see what happens. But that way is actually the Texas way. And if you do it the Texas way, we see what those results are. All right, y'all. That's it. I'm going to get out of here before Spectrum tries to ruin my Friday. I rebuke you, Spectrum, you evil internet company. Scrimmage this weekend. Sark back here on Monday. It's game week. We'll have all kinds of things. If you're on Orange Bloods, and this weekend I'm probably going to put in my season prediction. I know what all of y'all probably thinking undefeated. I'm leaning towards 11-1. It's hard to go undefeated in the college football season. I think that's really hard to do. I'm leaning 11-1. 10-2 would be the safest bet, but I'm leaning 11-1. I'm leaning one let up, which I'm going to let life happen and go from there. 10-2 wouldn't be the worst thing, but I'll be working on that this weekend. I'm really going to dive into some analytics and see how good I can be. I think last year I said 10-2, and I was only one off. So we shall see. Y'all remember what I said? Leave each day like it was your last. One day it will be. So who's going to go to Young Boy with Rodolfo? Listen. Oh yeah, I'm at the grown folks. I don't even like to do all white parties, but I really don't. I just like to go to sleep. But somebody go and hang out with Rodolfo at the Young Boy concert or whatever the hell he's going to. Whatever you do, go out and do something special for yourself. Enjoy